Today we're checking out Australian tourism to the US falls under Trump presidency.
This is very, very interesting. You know, people might be fearing for their safety a little bit if they're coming to the US, even close allies like Australia.
We've already seen that overall tourism from every country in the world is down to the US, and our closest neighbor, Canada, also tourism is going way down. So it makes a lot of sense that people flying all the way from Australia don't feel like taking the risk and going to the US.
Yeah, so let's see what the actual numbers are on this. I'm very curious to see.
Well, good evening and welcome to 10 News Plus. Freedom is just another word, so the song goes, for nothing left to lose. Well, there's a lot of chatter around right now about challenges to freedom. First tonight, the details of the new High Court challenge to the government's social media ban on kids under 16.
Then there are the new hurdles for Australians planning to travel to the United States. Tonight, the godfather of Australian travel, Flight Centre founder Graham Turner, tells us America's plan to demand 5 years of our social media history, plus potentially...
What? 5 years?
And, I mean, sure, an Australian person coming over is not an American citizen, but what's with, like, America's supposed to be land of the free and, like, you're free to say what you want. Why would they need 5 years of social media history?
In case you said something bad about the king.
True. You can say what you want as long as it's not something I don't like.
I bet they'd accept you if you talked about sleepy Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. 5 years. And I would assume, I mean, I guess I don't even know anymore because we can get like a visa very quickly into Australia, but I would have thought that Australians can also get a visa very quickly into the US. So how do they check like 5 years? Do you have to apply and then send 5 years of social media history to them?
No. Or is it like just a border thing if they deny seeing it or something?
How are they going to check 5 years?
I don't know.
America's plan to demand 5 years of our social media history, plus potentially our DNA, will simply drive Australians away.
We heard that about a Canadian person that came over a land border into the United States, got denied, and then they wanted a DNA sample, like a cheek swab.
So is this referencing that, or is it actually like a thing that's going into effect and they kind of just did it early for that guy?
I don't know. They were claiming it was because of a 2005 law.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So, I don't know. Yeah, you want to go visit this?
Never before has freedom seemed such a flexible concept.
Look, it's like a war zone.
In the United States, so-called...
All those police officers who are shooting those non-lethal weapons are shooting them at unarmed people. Let us remember that.
And then they decided to shoot lethal weapons at unarmed people also.
Executed them. They took the guy's gun away in Minnesota and then shot him.
Wow.
Nice.
Ice raid.
And they're all masked, by the way, too, so they will have no accountability.
Surrounding up people who don't look American, even US citizens, like Iraq War veteran George Retters.
Agents smashed my window, pepper sprayed me, dragged me out, and knelt on my neck and back. Agents never checked my ID. They detained me for 3 days. No phone call, no lawyer, not even a shower to wash off the pepper spray.
What?
But then there are those, and there are many in America, who say the Albanese government's social media ban on kids
So like there, that guy was saying that they didn't even check his ID. So imagine you're an Australian and you just want to travel there and you're like, oh, well, I'll have all the right things so I don't have to worry. What if they just started to arrest you and didn't decide to check your passport or something, that you have a visa or anything like that, and they just throw you away and then you can't talk to a lawyer or you can't talk to anybody?
There's no rules. They're just Trump's Gestapo. That's all they are. They can do whatever they want. They've gotten away with everything. All there are protests, and then they just get to go shoot people at the protests.
16 is a breach of fundamental freedoms, not just for Australian kids, but for everyone on the internet.
Today we change lives for the better.
Reddit today formally filed its High Court challenge to the social media age ban, claiming the law is invalid
we're on the
because
social
it
media ban
infringes
now?
Australia's implied constitutional freedom of political communication. And if that fails, seeking a specific get-out for Reddit on the basis that it is not a social media platform under the meaning of the Act. Reddit says it is a forum primarily for adults. Users
I mean,
under
like, how does that
16
work? Because technically, children aren't free. So, like, dude, they don't get the same freedoms as the adults. So, it's like, I feel like saying, oh, that's, like, impeding on their freedoms, but children don't really have freedom.
They don't get to vote for who
Yeah.
they want to run the country.
So, I mean, it seems like if this is something that they should technically be allowed to do if they want to.
are not.
And not to say that I'm necessarily against that. I feel like the kids these days, the iPad kids, it'd probably be a good thing if they didn't
Yeah.
have social media.
I don't know where to cut it with the age thing, but definitely kids under 10 probably
12.
don't need anything at all other than maybe like a game or something like that. They don't need that much of that sort of stimulation.
Social media is toxic. I mean, and this is specifically social media too. So, I mean, how many high schoolers are just addicted to Facebook and get cyberbullied, all that
So
stuff,
many.
get radicalized?
A substantial market segment for Reddit, the platform said in a post on Reddit, and we don't intend them to be. Reddit says while child safety measures are crucial to a healthier internet, this law is missing the mark on actually protecting young people online. And what about the Trump administration's new move to protect Americans from the wrong kind of Australian? Proposed infringements on the freedom and right to privacy for Australians hoping to travel to the US will include biometric data, including potentially DNA, a demand for personal details of family members who are not even traveling, and a 5-year search of all the travelers' social media accounts.
When does
Donald
that
Trump's
happen?
mad as cuts.
So, I mean, this
Search
says
of
visa
all the
changes.
travelers'
So they must have to apply beforehand
Oh.
and then send it all
social
in.
media accounts.
Donald Trump's mad as a cut snake. But is there any method in his madness? And what we've seen with Donald Trump, generally his bark's worse than his bite. And I hope that's true this time with his social media.
The godfather of the Australian travel industry, Flight Centre founder Graham Turner, says the short-term effect will likely be an even steeper fall in Australians travelling to the US.
Even
Makes sense.
countries that aren't democratic don't have these sort of measures. Things like this just won't help travel of Australian tourists into the States. And I think there's plenty of alternatives. There's plenty of really interesting, great destinations to go other than the United States of America.
Over the past
Great destinations to
I
go
want to see this page.
other than
I don't know if
the
it's
United States of America.
Australian-centric necessarily. $40 application fee.
Oh, it's only $40 for Australians.
Not bad. A lot of other countries is like 180.
Over the past year, Australian visits to the US have fallen 6.4%, while travel elsewhere is up 6.9%. And
So
that
that's like a
fall to the
12% difference?
States is accelerating.
It just shows you that America is the country that's missing out on this because people do have choices. There's a lot of really good choices for people to go on their holidays.
True.
And the thing is, too, like, if it was talking about a country like Germany, that it was a 6% drop off to the US, I'd be like, okay, maybe they're just going to more European destinations. But Australia is pretty equidistant from, like, I mean, obviously there's plenty of destinations in Asia, but if they wanted to go to the US already, changing their place would be way different than if someone was in Europe. So that's a very different change for the percentage, too.
No one's going to risk going to the U.S. these days. I mean, it's the same thing we said on the video about Europeans not going to America and Canadians. It's just not worth the risk. It's if you're going to fly that far and there's still a chance, even if your visa got accepted, there's probably still a chance that they could turn around at the border, just destroys your whole trip, or that you get arrested
Yeah.
and end up in prison or a jail for a few days or weeks, and then suddenly also your vacation gets destroyed and you lose a lot more money.
It just, not to mention the fact that the U.S. has started a war that's made it more expensive to travel to the U.S. now, even though you wouldn't go through the Middle East to get there, but the prices will still be more expensive.
Yes. The oil prices are through the roof. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.
Whoa.
Bye.